So the first one says, what percent, it actually says percent, but I'm just going to put that little sign, of 40 is 25. Okay? What percent of 40 is 25? Okay? Hopefully by this point you know that you cannot work a math problem with the percentage staying as a percentage. Okay? Right now this doesn't even give us a percentage, but eventually we will have some that do give us a percentage and we'll have to change it. Okay? But let's just look at this, and I'm going to take it and write an equation from this. So what percentage is, I'm going to put what percentage. And does anybody know why I did it like that? Does anybody remember?
You know that it's not like a number.
So that you know it's not a number. We're wanting an actual percent here. Okay? Of means
45%.
times 40, bring that down, is equals
No, 55.
in 25. Lane? Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so this is what number times 40 equals 25. Or what percent? I'm sorry, I said that wrong. What percent of 40 is 25? 25. Okay? So, the whole point is that we're trying to get this by itself. Does everybody remember that step? Okay? And so in order to do that, I need to get rid of this. And the way I get rid of it is by doing the opposite of it. So if this says times 40, okay, I would divide by 40, and it crosses it out. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Some of y'all liked me saying it this way. Okay, some of y'all liked it. I'm trying to get this by itself, so I want to move this over here. And when I cross the equal sign, the times becomes divided by. Okay, or you can do it like that, however you want to do it. Okay, so whichever one you like, it doesn't matter to me. But once we move this times 40 across the equal line, it changed it from times 40 to divided by 40. Okay, so we got rid of it. And now it is what percent equals 25 over 40. Now what's wrong with this problem? It's not a percent. So we know we're not done. It's just a fraction. So we're not just going to reduce it and think we're done, because reducing it doesn't do anything. Okay? In order to make something into a percent, there are two different ways we can do this. I think the easiest way is just multiplying it by 100. Okay? So, because percent has to do with 100, we were just going to say 25 over 40 times 100% over 1. Okay, that's probably the easiest way. I'll show you another way in just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to take my answer, and because I want it as a percent, I'm going to multiply it by 100%. Now, do y'all see an easy way I can cancel here?
No.
There is.
Oh, yeah.
By 10, okay? So 10 will go into 100, 10 times, 10 will go into 40, 4 times. Anybody see any others?
2
I see another one. 10 and 4. 2 will go into both of them. 5, 2. Okay. And I believe that is it. Okay.
I have a question. So, I have a question real quick.
So, 25 times 5 is 125, right? Okay. Over 2. All right. And then when we do that, 125 divided by 2, we end up getting... Oh. How about
Where do we
that
put our
again?
test?
Sweetheart,
I forgot. We don't have the thingy.
Lane. Okay. We're kind of focused on this, and when you say something loud, everybody else is distracted. Do you understand that? Okay. So this could wait until the end and say, Miss Potterworth, here's my test. Okay? Or you can just set it here. Got it? Okay. I don't even know where I was. 2 will go into 12 6 times, okay? And then we bring down the 5, and then 2 will go into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Bring that down, I get a 1. I'm going to bring it up, and this over. 62.5%. Got to have the percent up there, okay? Does everybody see how we did that?
Yep.
Okay, now, if you don't want to do it times 100 right here, let me show you another way that you can. Some people may like it a different way. You can just take this 25 divided by 40 Okay, always remember the top number goes on the inside. Okay, and we're going to go in and make it into a decimal number. Okay, and bring it up because we don't have enough numbers right here. And then you can go 40 goes into 250 times. And then another 0. 40 goes into 100. 2 times. Subtract that. 40 goes into 200. 20. Okay? 0.625. But the most important thing that you can remember is so far we still have what percent equals this. And all we've done is 25 divided by 40. 25 divided by 40, and we got this number. But if you remember percents, you have to move the decimal 2 places to the right. Or if that helps you to remember that you're going to multiply it by 100, knowing that these 2 zeros, 1, 2, remember that rule? When you multiply by 100, you go 1, 2, so then it would become 62.5%. Does everybody see how we did that? Honestly, I think it's easier to go on and from the get-go multiply by 100, okay? And it'll be easier. Okay, let's move to another one, okay? Okay, this one says, what percent of $3.50 is 28 cents? Okay, that's my question. How would I write this out? W percent of means times $3.50 equals 28 cents. Okay, now, how many of y'all like thinking we're going to move this over across the equals? Is that what most of y'all like? Okay, let's do it that way. So I want to get this by itself because that's what we're trying to find. So I want to move this out of the way, and so we're going to move it across the equal signs. And since it says times 350, it's actually going to be divided by 350, and that gets rid of it. Now it says what percent equals 28 cents over 350. Okay? Now, who remembers what I just told you a while ago to do?
Multiply by.
Let's multiply it by 100. 0.28 over 350 times 100 over 1. Now, there is a problem with this. Does anybody know what that problem is? Yes.
The decimals.
It's a decimal, and this is a
Fraction.
fraction. What do y'all think we're going to have to do?
Move the decimal.
We are going to have to. This is going to be one of those times where we're going to have to do dividing first and then multiply by 100. Okay? That doesn't happen all the time, but because this is decimals and 100 is a whole number and then you have to put it over 1, this is one of those times where we will have to. Okay? So let's do that. 0.28 divided by 3.50.
Wait, so why did we have to do that again?
Because this is in decimal numbers, yet it's also a percent. A fraction. So we can't have decimal numbers in a fraction. So we're going to try to get rid of some of those decimal numbers. Okay, right now it's here and here. Who remembers what happens to this decimal? You do. 1, 2. And so this one does what? 1, 2. So now the problem is 350, 28, and the decimal's right there. Okay? Now, I'm going to add a 0. That doesn't work. Add another 0, bring it down. Okay? 350 goes into 2,800. 7, 8 times. Let's try 8. I'm going to want to move this up. I forgot. 8 times 0. 8 times 5, 40. 8 times 3, 24. 2 5, 6, 7, 28. Yes. All right. We came out even. Okay? So the answer is this. Yet, this is my answer, 0.08. Okay? But is it a percentage right now? No. It's a decimal number. Okay? So now, because I want it to be percent, I'm going to multiply it by 100. And when I multiply it by 100, because there's 2 zeros, I'm going to move it to the right or left?
Right.
When you multiply, you move it to the right. 1, 2 spots. 1, 2. So 0.8 becomes just 8. And so what percent is 8%? Everybody understand?
Yep.
Okay, good stuff. All right, y'all try this one on your own and see what we get. All right, this one says 75% of what number is 600? Okay, before y'all go to start doing this one, what do y'all remember me telling you about percentages in a problem? You have to change it into a decimal. You cannot work a percent in a problem. You have to change it to either a fraction or a decimal. I don't care which one. Okay? So y'all going and work it on your paper. I'm going to work it on mine.
To change it to a decimal, wouldn't you have to do it to divide it by 100?
Yep, 75 over 100, which would make it 0.75. Because this is tenths, hundredths, tenths, hundredths.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I knew that.
Okay?
Done. Done. That's what I
You
got.
forgot the decimal.
Everybody get 100? I moved it here. 1,
800.
1, 2, and then I had a decimal here. 1, 2. So it's at the end, but we didn't need it.
You said 100. It's 800.
800. Did I say 100?
Yeah, you said it.
Okay, this might actually have been a better problem to do using this as 75 over 100. It really doesn't matter how you did it. Some of y'all, this would have been 75 over 100. So it would have looked like this. 600 divided by 75 over 100. You could have put this over 1, then multiplied that and changed it. And it might have been easier. I'm not sure. So it depends on how you wanted to do it.
And then you have to divide your way. Because
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, try this one. This is one of the percents that you'll have to answer on your own.
what
So
was the answer for that one?
800, did you get it? You still working it? Oops. 50 is what percent of 40? 50 is what
This one
percent
that we're doing on our
of 40? Yes, do this one on your own.
is equal, right?
Uh-huh.
So it'd be a 50 equals percent times 40.
Yep.
So what times 40 equals 50? I'm confused. I think this is right.
Just a minute, buddy. There's two different ways you could do that. I want to see what y'all do. I'm going to stop right there for a minute.
I'm not sure if that's right. I think it's
I don't know. I hadn't even looked at it yet. Nope. I'm not done yet. I don't want to finish it yet because I want to see what y'all chose to do from here. What'd you get? Perfect. Okay. Which way did you do it? Did you just take this and multiply it by 100?
Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody take this and divide it and then multiply it by 100?
I divided 40 by 50. I did 50 by 40.
Okay. and then you then you multiply it by 100? Either way, to change it to
It just comes out 1.25%.
right. Okay, stop right there for just a minute. Okay, I'm going to do what she says in just a minute, but I'm going to do it your way first. So what she said is she just took this fraction, and anytime we have to make it into a percent, you have to multiply it by 100. Have to. Okay? So 5/4 times 100 over 1, which is 100%. Okay?
And then I crossed it out and made 100 into 25
Uh-huh.
into
4 into 2?
1.
No, 1. That's right, because, yep. Okay, and then 5 times 25 is 125 over 1, which is 125%. Good job. That was probably the easiest and quickest way, but some of you might have chosen to take this 50 over 40. I went on and crossed out the zeros because you can do that. And so it would be 5 divided by 4. Okay?
You multiply it by 100 to turn it into a percent?
Yes, you have to. Write that down. Star it if you need to. Okay, so then I would get a 4 here, bring down a 0, 2, bring down a 0, 4 goes into 25 times, finally comes out evenly. Okay, if I move this up, but this is my decimal number. Okay, 1.25 is a decimal number. I haven't even made it into a percent yet, because even if I work this problem, I've just told you the answer to that. I still haven't made it into a percent. So then I'll have to take this and multiply it by 100, which we know times means moving your decimal to the right, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 125% is the answer. Okay, the easiest possible way to do this is just to take whatever answer you get and multiply it by 100 to make it into a percent. That's always the easiest if you can.
Is it like, is it an okay way? Like the way that I turn a decimal into a percent or a percent into a decimal is not a percent into a decimal, but a decimal into a percent. Is I just take away the decimal and I just put a percent behind it, or if there's a 0 in a decimal.
It depends on how many spots there are in the decimal. Okay? Because you always have to move it 2 places to the right because you're multiplying by 100.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Does everybody feel like they got it?
Yeah.
This one may be a little bit harder, this next one, but I want to review it. I know y'all are tired of doing these, but this one, I want to make sure you know what you're doing. This one says 60 is 150% of what number? Okay, so I'm going to change equal is to equal of to times. Okay. You have to change this to a decimal number. Okay? The easiest way to think of this is this. If I have 150%, how much does a whole circle equal? 100%. So this one's 100%. And then how much percent do I have left? 50? Okay? 50%. Okay? So I have 1 whole and a half. So this becomes a decimal number. 1 whole and a half. Does everybody understand that? You have to. Anytime you have a percent into a problem, you have to change it into a decimal. Okay? Another way to think of this is because it is a percent, I can put it over 100 or divide by 100, and I move my decimal twice to the left because I'm dividing. It just depends on what you want to do. Okay? Does everybody understand why I got 1.5 out of that? 100% is 1 whole, and anything after 1 whole, this is a half, so that's your decimal number, 0.5. Okay? Or you can think percent means per 100, which is divided by 100, and when you divide a number, 1, 2 to the left.
I think I got the answer.
Okay? So it depends on how you want to look at it. All right? And then you would work it like normal. Okay? All right. That's lesson 77, guys.